everyone. This is Brooks. You're listening to Books with Brooks. Today is a minisode where I announce our November book pick, November 2019. Can you believe? There's only 2 more months left in the year, 2 more books to read. I feel like we've been hitting things pretty hard lately between The Great Believers in September and The Shining for October. They were both like 600-page reads, pretty intense, a lot of content, a lot to talk about, big books. So kind of trying to go with something maybe a little lighter for November. Maybe lighter is the wrong word, but just, I think lighter, a little lighter. So yeah, this book comes recommended by one of our own, Miss Justine. Thanks, Justine. She suggested this book. It was also a Hello Sunshine Reese Witherspoon's book club pick back in July of 2017. So it comes highly recommended, and I am really excited to announce that for November, we're going to read, drumroll please, The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. It's a bestseller, New York Times, USA Today, Reese Witherspoon Book Club. It was published in June 2017 by William Morrow, and it seems to be a sort of a brave lady post-war novel. From what I can tell, there's going to be a couple of timelines, 1915, 1947, and then 30 years after 1947. And it appears to be set mostly in France or generally in Europe. I will make a prediction now. If it's set in France, they'll eat a lot of bread and cheese, and it will make me hungry for bread and cheese. That always happens when I read books. I want to have whatever they're having. You can probably picture the cover. It's like a woman with a suitcase and a like cute hat and an old-timey airplane, and you can kind of see Big Ben, and there's a really old-timey car. It's highly stylized, so we kind of know, all right, we're in Europe. We're in London, I guess. Probably wartime, given the plane. I think you get a lot of information from the cover. It has a really high Goodreads rating, 4.26. I'm pretty happy with any ratings over 4. I think the book's probably going to be pretty good. Obviously, there are exceptions, and not everyone likes every book, and hating books is part of reading books, but I feel good about a 4.26. I think we will like this book. I think we will enjoy it, and it'll hopefully be a pretty fast, good read. So the author is Kate Quinn. A little bit about her. She's from Southern California, but she went to Boston University. She lives in San Diego now. She kind of seems to focus on historical novels. She's written a few others. There's one called The Huntress, and then she's done a series called The Empress of Rome series. I think there's 4 of those. And then she also seems to collaborate with other authors, and like together they write historical fiction. She's got one called A Day of Fire, a novel of Pompeii that I would actually really like to read, because I did in like 3rd grade, I did a presentation on Pompeii, and I've always thought it was fascinating ever since then. So that would be cool. And then she appears to be on a book tour now for another collaborative book called Ribbons of Scarlet, a novel of the French Revolution's women. So I kind of wonder if, the research and the background work she did for the Alice Network made it possible for her to collaborate on, another sort of like French historical novel. She's on Twitter. You can follow her at Kate Quinn Author on Twitter. And I read a quote from her, which I really like. She says, "In my books, I hope to show the life, the laughter, and the humanity that runs through our common past." I'm a big fan of historical fiction. It's obviously, it tends to be more interesting. It's dramatized, so it tends to be more interesting than true fiction. But you can still get, nuggets of truth or overall, feelings about the history or the time or the culture of the time. Yeah. So I'm excited. Let me read the book jacket, which actually is on the inside cover. It's a fold over flap because my version is a paperback. 1947. In the chaotic aftermath of World War II, American college girl Charlie St. Clair is pregnant, unmarried, and on the verge of being thrown out of her very proper family. She's also nursing a desperate hope that her beloved cousin Rose, who disappeared in Nazi-occupied France during the war, might still be alive. So when Charlie's parents banish her to Europe to have her little problem taken care of, Charlie breaks free and heads to London, determined to find out what happened to the cousin she loves like a sister. 1915. A year into the Great War, Eve Gardner burns to join the fight against the Germans and unexpectedly gets her chance when she's recruited to work as a spy. Sent into enemy-occupied France, she's trained by the mesmerizing Lily, codename Alice, the Queen of Spies, who manages a vast network of secret agents right under the enemy's nose. 30 years later, haunted by the betrayal that ultimately tore apart the Alice network, Eve spends her days drunk and secluded in her crumbling London house. That is until a young American barges in, uttering a name Eve hasn't heard in decades, and launches them both on a mission to find the truth, no matter where it leads. Ooh. Oh, I'm into it. I think this book will be good. I have high hopes for it. It comes well recommended from someone within our ranks, but also Goodreads and Reese Witherspoon. I hope you'll read along with us. As usual, I'll be back in early November with an update on this book, and then we'll have the full discussion about the book at the end of November. If you have any friends who enjoy reading or are looking for a book club or know that they're going to have reading time over the holidays, I hope you'll recommend Books with Brooks. We get new members and new listeners via word of mouth, so it'd be great. Share it with your friends. Follow me on Instagram, Books with Brooks, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye! Books with Brooks is in the Press Play Podcast Network, and our theme music is by Jonathan Allen.